Welcome to our presentation, The Enemy Within Democracy, Fascism, and the Struggle for the Self. This isn't just about revisiting history books, it's about confronting the fascism that lingers in our silence and thrives in our deepest desires. We'll be undertaking a philosophical analysis to explore this complex and often unseen enemy. Let's begin by understanding that democracy is about substantive liberty, not just formal rights. The misconception often arises when we confuse the mere possession of a right to vote with genuine democracy. This formal acknowledgement, while important, frequently obscures deeper inequalities and the true substance of self-rule. The essence of democracy lies in the self-determination of members who possess equal liberty. Our goal must be a society where everyone substantively enjoys liberty on an equal footing. This demands more than just rights on paper, it requires the material conditions necessary to exercise those rights, free from domination. The reality check is that democracy is inherently fragile. It is a continuous process of moving toward equal liberty, always susceptible to decline. The struggle for substantive liberty is ceaseless, demanding constant vigilance against new forms of oppression and the erosion of democratic values. The enemy wears innocent disguises. As Umberto Eco wisely warned, fascism can come back in the most innocent of disguises. Our duty is to uncover it and point our finger at any of its new forms every day, in every part of the world. This powerful statement means we cannot rely on historical aesthetics to identify modern threats. Fascism mutates, it adapts. To effectively defend democracy, we must continuously analyze and name these mutating forms, recognizing them even when they don't look like their historical predecessors. Our core definition is this: fascism is any ideology that consciously or unconsciously opposes democracy and views human beings in hierarchical terms. We can see its scope at both a macro and everyday level. Historically, we recognize figures like Mussolini and Hitler, and the state terror of Stalinism. But at an everyday, modern level, fascism manifests in things like neoliberalism, various forms of discrimination, and regional or class hatred. The key takeaway here is crucial: fascism is not merely a type of government, it is the specific and fundamental enemy of democracy in all its forms. Now, let's look at the fascism that lives in the mirror, what we call microfascism. This is a concept suggesting that fascism is immanent to democracy itself. It operates as an invisible discipline that subtly induces voluntary subjugation. It exerts dominion over the minute, seemingly insignificant aspects of our everyday lives. As Lim Ji-yun observes, it is a highly sophisticated and concealed apparatus of power that subtly manipulates minds and daily existence. It's not always an external, imposing force, sometimes it's woven into the very fabric of our individual and societal being. This brings us to a profound philosophical problem: why do people surrender themselves? Because being one's own master is a heavy burden. The mechanism is that many individuals willingly abandon liberty and equality, finding contentment in enjoying reality merely as subordinate subjects. Philosophers Deleuze and Guattari regarded voluntary servitude as a fundamental problem. This suggests that the true enemy isn't solely the external tyrant, it is also our own refusal to bear the weight and responsibility of freedom. And even more startling, we often desire the very thing that dominates us. The core insight here is that social movements are realized through desire, not just ideology. Deleuze and Guattari issued a powerful warning: the fascism in us all. The fascism that makes us love power, desire the very thing that dominates and exploits us. Supporting this, Ronald Bogue notes that the oppressed can actually want their own oppression because their desires are coded within the dominant systems. Ultimately, fascism relies heavily on mass consent, driven by these complex, often unconscious, desires. Shifting gears to the external, we face Hannah Arendt's warning regarding external terror. Arendt viewed fascism as the crystallization of institutionalized violence, a form of tyranny where bureaucracy degenerates into its most extreme state, a state where terror is the very essence. The synthesis of these ideas is critical, whether it's the internal desire of microfascism or the external bureaucracy of macrofascism. The result is consistently the same: the destruction of the ethical subject. Today, algorithms amplify the fascist machine. In our digital environment, fascism takes on new and insidious shapes. Technology and desire are now fused into a novel form of power. The mechanism is clear: algorithms are designed to efficiently circulate anger and hatred, amplifying our basest desires. The tragic result is that democracy is being pushed away from awakened civic politics towards what can only be described as foolish crowd politics. Parallel to this, information overload is causing the erosion of transparency. The ideal at the core of democracy is the right to know. Without transparent information, freedom of expression is nothing but a hollow shell. However, the current threat is that information overload, ironically, creates so much noise that it effectively obscures the truth. The impact is profound. When transparency dies in a flood of data, the ability to form an awakened citizen is tragically lost. So, what is the resistance? The resistance is the ethical subject. Our task lies in cultivating autonomous ethical subjects to counter voluntary servitude. An ethical subject is defined as a free, awakened citizen who orients their life toward non-fascist values. This individual possesses the capability to overcome social conditions and guide the flows of desire in positive, creative directions, thereby actively resisting the subtle and overt pressures of fascism. To achieve this, we rely on the two pillars of defense. First, political education. This must aim to eradicate the seeds of fascism and foster perceptive democrats. The success of democracy depends entirely on the level of public awareness and critical thinking. Second, the democratization of media. This demands transparent disclosure of information and open, robust debate, which are indispensable for a healthy democracy. Our overarching goal is continuous self-reflection supported by structural transparency. And this brings us to the supreme task. The reality is that just as the revolutionary and reactionary potentials of desire are eternal, the realization of democracy is an endless process. This is the concept of eternal recurrence, echoing Nietzsche. Democracy is never truly finished. It is a process akin to this eternal recurrence. To live a non-fascist life and to create this is the task we must eternally strive toward.